Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, the Wildcats lose on homecoming Saturday at the hands of the team from downtown Los Angeles, 45-37. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, let's cut right to the chase and what everybody is talking about, and that's the penalty on Jerry Roberts in the second half of this ball game. And, you know, we obviously have the benefit, and I do particularly, of slowing this down and watching it frame by frame. And I've never refereed football. I've refereed baseball. And I remember when I was umpiring, I always felt like the one thing I never wanted to do was try to make a call that was going to change the entire aspect of a game. But you know, I also had my father who played this game at a very high level, as a lot of people know. And one of the things he used to always tell me was that, David, this is an emotional game, and you've got to be able to keep your emotions in check, because if you don't, you're going to put your team at risk and put them in jeopardy of calls at the hands of the guys wearing the stripes. And unfortunately, that's what Jerry Roberts did here in this situation. It looks like the bump was incidental. That's the way I saw it. He wasn't even looking at Caleb Williams. He was looking down the field at the pass. He bumped him, but then he turned back and said something and went towards him, and you just cannot do that in that situation.
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to control your emotions, but it wasn't anything that he used his arm to shove him or do anything like doing an extra punch or anything. So I don't think that was a big factor. So I don't think the ref should have made that call. I just don't think you should have separated them and let him go back to the huddle. Because they were chawing at it in the first half. They were going at it because there was a hit on the sideline, on the USC sideline one time with him and Caleb and a couple of our guys, and they were going back and forth. So they should have been aware of that, and, you know, knowing that there was some tension. They didn't need to throw that flag unless he was really extending his arm or punching somebody. So I don't think that was a very good call.
And there were several calls that a lot of people disagreed with on both sides in this ball game. It really seems to be a testament of this season. And I don't know if it's so much a testament of it. It seems like it's a little bit louder this season, and maybe that's because everything that's going on around the landscape of college football. But, you know, I've always kind of twisted a little bit of an eye at the various fan bases in this conference and how much they complain about the officiating, whether it's basketball or football. And that's never been something I've done. I've never been one of those people who complains about officiating. But obviously on the USC side, there were a lot of people that were unhappy that happened at the end of the first half. And I'm not sure whether that maybe, and I'm sure maybe we'll begin to get some answers to this, Glenn, today. I'm anticipating that Jed Fish probably reached out to the conference to find out what the call was on the Jerry Roberts situation. We were down on the sideline at that point, but we were at the other end of the field, so we don't know maybe if he said something to Caleb and the referee might have heard that. We don't know any of that. We may not ever find out that part of it. But that play at the end of the first half where the clock started early, I'm not sure why they could not have gone back and looked at that and reset that situation.
Yeah, why didn't they review it? Why didn't they review that call? I thought they had some time left, you know. He should have got at least had a second, because he would have let him snap the ball, and then I guess they were going to try to, you know, just, you know, throw the ball on the ground and stop the clock. But I think the USC got ripped off a little bit there. And then there was another play that they had where there was an obvious pick, and the ref was right there watching it. And the guy went for, you know, like 30, 40 yards. And there was this guy didn't look like he was running around. He was looking at the defender and actually blocked him. So it was like right in front, and that ref was standing right there. The linesman ref was right there, and he saw it, and he didn't pull the flag.
Well, let's show that play right here. This play was early in the ball game as well, and it was a crossing route. Now, initially, Glenn, when I saw this, one of the things that came to my mind was Could Stooks have picked up on the fact that his receiver was going to do that and bailed off into coverage, but kind of explain why that's just kind of not how that works?
I just don't think they do. I don't think they do I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I just don't think they do the switching like they do in basketball because they're going too fast. You can't switch and then turn the other way. The guy's going to run past you. You got to stick with your guy because you're having that momentum going that way. You got to avoid the contact, get around it, and stay with your guy. Plus, you shouldn't have a pick. It shouldn't be a pick. Illegal. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that we shouldn't have to worry about. So I don't think they do. They don't do the basketball switch.
Yeah, and that wasn't even incidental. Like I said, he kind of, you can see he literally diverted out of his route,
and it wasn't good. And another thing is that we always been talking about assignment and alignment. There was a couple plays, on the goal line when they scored. The linebackers were confused who had the guy coming out of the backfield, coming in motion or anything, and we were just a split second too late, and they scored a touchdown. We have to know the assignment and alignment when we line up. It's important that I know we have some young guys. We're going to get better. I think we played a better game as a team. We were fighting. We were in the game. And I'm proud of our guys of what they've done. But we got to take the next step. Every game we got to take the next step. Because, we're battling the next step is the next best team, okay? It's going to be Utah. And if we continue on a progression of getting better every week, you never know what's going to happen in Utah. Maybe we learn a lot from the SC game and we get better and don't make those mistakes.
Well, Glenn, I don't get to a lot of games. Actually got a chance to get to this one in the second half and be down on the sideline. We had a chance to stand and watch this game. And I remarked to you that one of the things that initially right away stood out to me was just the number of players that they were using. And I go back to something that Rich Rodriguez used to say. He said, you have a good defense when you are not just you hear the term too deep, which comes out every week, which is the depth chart. Yeah. But when you can actually play too deep at every position, that's when you have a good defense. And there were a lot of guys on the field that had not been on the field before. Obviously, Takario Davis saw his first action in this ballgame at corner. Ephesians Prysock saw his first action. Jacob Kongakai got more minutes in this ballgame. Jeremy Mercer was out there playing a lot. So clearly there was an emphasis during the bye week with Johnny Nansen and this coaching staff that they needed to get more people into this rotation to try to, and we talked about this on Friday, one of the concerns I had with Hunter Echols was, he might want to play 60 plays, but that might be too much for some of these guys to have to go out there and play, and it helps if you can get some of these other guys into the rotation.
Well, I tell you what, let's talk about it. Hunter first. They were aware that Hunter was going to be a problem. They were chipping him. They were double teaming him. They were doing a lot of stuff with the back, keeping the back in and having a tackle and the back. And it kind of wore him out a little bit. So those are kind of things that you got to understand. When you want to be that guy, there's people going to come after you, man. They're going to target you. They're going to come and get you. I was really excited to see Davis and these other guys, Trysack, they're playing, on defense. Those guys are just the potential for those guys. 6'4", 6'3", corners and DBs. Those are the guys that we want. Those are the guys we want in our defensive backfield. And those guys getting that experience against some of the best teams in the conference, like the USC Trojans, that experience is priceless.
Yeah, and, again, Hunter Echols was a guy that really wanted to make an impact in this ball game facing his old team. Unfortunately, it just did not materialize in that way. He just had 3 tackles, no negative plays again in this ball game. In fact, the defense as a whole only had 1 negative play, and that was set up by Jacob Manu to get a pass tip for Jalen Harris in this contest. And once again, Glenn, the team that got the 1 turnover won the ball game.
That's right. We needed. I said one of our keys to that game was They needed to get a turnover. We needed a big play on special teams, and we needed like 3 stops. We had 2 stops. That's what we had. We had 2 stops that we needed, some key stops, and we just couldn't make that play, man. I mean, it just was, that 3rd stop would have been the Jerry Roberts one. So it would have been the 3rd stop, and we would have been in the game. We would have been right in it. So, those things happen, but our kids are going to learn from that. I think they're going to learn. And that's what the coaches got to emphasize to them. What do we break down in that game? The small little things that made us lose that game, and understand what it is, correct it, and don't do it again. That's the thing. We got to be set and ready, assignment alignment when the ball is snapped, knowing who your men are and who you have to guard, and play the ball. Play it. We tackled a little bit better. I thought we did a pretty good job of that, and we just got it. And the intensity was good. I think that we just got to get a little bit better on understanding assignment alignment, especially on the blitzes for the offensive line.
All right, let's flip it over to the offensive side of the ball, Glenn, and I want the folks to hear Jed Fish's comments after this ball game about his quarterback, Jayden de Laura.
I think we have the best quarterback that I've ever been around in college football, and I love the fact that he's a sophomore. I think if my math's right, he's 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the last 4 games. He's learning our offense better and better. He's, sometimes I feel like we have like this pitcher-catcher combo. I give him a signal and he kind of shakes me off, give him another signal. He would never have done that early on. But now he's feeling more comfortable in what we want to get done. And I feel more comfortable. I would say early on, I would have just said, you run what I call. But now I trust him that he now can communicate better with me. Like, Coach, I know what the play is. I know what all 5 eligibles are going to do. I don't feel as comfortable with this as that. And I think that's the growth we're seeing from him. He's a phenomenal player. Really.
So, Glenn, he is all in. He is all that told me right there. He is all in on Jayden de Laura for the next 3, as he should be, because again, we can nitpick this offense up and down, but the fact of the matter is they're going out there pretty much every week now in a Power 5 conference and putting up 500 yards and I'll get into and scoring enough points to win. They just can't get the stops they need to win those games.
I'm going to tell you, we wouldn't be in our position of talking of how close we are or the wins we have without Jayden de Laura. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. Is that, like I said in the beginning of the year, okay, and everybody was saying, what are you talking about? He's going to be our leading passer in U of A history. He will be. He will be the leading passer in U of A history in yards and touchdowns and stuff by the time he leaves here. The kid is, if I was Jed, I'd be all in too. He is a guy that you got to get him to understand the game better. And as soon as he does that, he understands the game a little bit better, and he knows when to be risky and when to be safe. And he's going to be such a great quarterback. I think he'll be a first team all Pac-10, Pac-12 quarterback.
Well, Glenn, you said it on Friday in our pregame show. Jed had said it earlier in the week in his press conference. You have to score touchdowns against USC to beat that ball club. The great news is Tyler Loop made all 3 of his field goals. The bad news is Tyler Loop had to kick 3 field goals.
That's right. 21 points right there. That's 12 points. That's a game. We win. That's 12. What? That's 12 points. 3 field goals. That's 4. That's 12 points. We win. So we get those touchdowns instead of those field goals. We're in. So we'll learn. We got to learn. Guys got to understand. And there's got to be a bad taste in their mouth, these guys. They got to understand. I remember when we used to lose close games, it was a bad taste. We don't want to be in that position anymore. So we had to correct those things, and we did. And as a team, and I remember our guys correcting those things, and we corrected, and we went on to their next couple games. And we lost some close ones, man. We lost some close ones. I never remember being blown out by anybody. We always lost close games. You know, if you look that up, 83-85, we never really got blown out. So it's you got to make those mistakes. You correct those mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that you look at the first half, that one drive where you got down there and it was first and goal. You had 4 chances, and you took the bad run play there that set you back to 7 yards. That to me was one of the more critical turning points in this ball game for Arizona. But hey, they finally got the option play to work in their favor in one of the red zone opportunities, because they threw it to the running back. They gave it to the right running back.
Yes, that's right. They used Wiley. And another thing is that I like to get to a point where we're getting that close to the goal line, and our offensive linemen have got to say, by any means necessary, we got to score, especially when they call a run play. You can't miss. You can't get blown up at center where you get pushed back, and then you have to reroute the running back, because that's what happened. Okay, you got to be ready to go, and if your coach is having confidence in you to run the ball there, you guys got to have that mindset that we're taking this ball in.
Solid game by Michael Wiley, 88 all-purpose yards, both running and receiving. And I want to show 2 plays by DJ Williams, because once again, Glenn, this kid is a powerful inside runner here. Third quarter, man, this 18-yard run he had here, I mean, just loves to pound on guys on the inside. And I'm going to be curious to ask Jed about this one here. But the next play, he came right back to him, and I'm going to stop it right here, because he had this lane to the outside. He had the blocking set up perfectly. There was one defender out here, and the receiver probably peels off and gets that guy, and this looks like a touchdown run right here, but he cut it back up inside for 1 yard. So you talk about leaving points on the field, and Jed even mentioned on that 73-yard pass play, and we didn't really get a bunch of good angles on that about whether he just said that he felt Dorian Singer should have scored. So I wonder if he means that Dorian should have cut that play back to the inside on the defender to try to get into the end zone. But man, that looked like 2 touchdowns that you left on the field in this ball game. In a ball game, you lost by 1 touchdown.
Yeah. And the thing is sometimes it's going so fast, because that was a counter play. That was a play that he was coming back. And when you see that hole, and then you don't really see it because it develops a little late, he just probably saw that hole and then just went right up into it instead of bouncing it on the outside. And, that happens sometimes. You just got to have the vision. The vision is so important.
All right, let's touch on a few things, other special teams play. I thought, how about Will Ulrich? We got to call his name here. He covered that critical onside kick. Glenn, you thought that was their opportunity. They were going for the kill there.
Yeah, they were. I'm like, man, I said, like, Lincoln Riley's trying to put the steak in us, man. He's like ready to cook. He was like saying, let's just put these guys out right now. And good kudos to him, man. Kudos to him for taking that risk, and that's confidence in your players. That's confidence in your defense. You know what? I'm going to do an onside, because you know what? I'm not going to let them score, even if they do the onside. But if we get it, we're gonna take them out of the ball game. Good for him. I thought that was a great play.
Well, Glenn, I mentioned this early in the season that about 3 years ago, in fact, it was in 2019 after the Wildcats lost to Hawaii, I went back and I looked at numbers on because I believe the Wildcats scored about close to 40 points in that game and lost. And I went back because I wanted to know what the Wildcats record was when they score around 35 to more points. And I categorized this as my baseball analogy of what happens when you score 4 runs or more versus what happens when you score 3 runs or less. And I went back and did the numbers again last week. The Wildcats, since 2010, the Wildcats win 81% of the time when they score 35 or more points. Unfortunately, they've lost back-to-back games now when they've scored 35 or more points. But generally, 37 in this ball game, 39 at Washington, generally speaking, that's enough points to win. And I thought, and we talked about the third quarter issue, and I went back and I asked Jed Fish about that after the Washington game, and his the thing that he said, and it's so aptly put, we just give up too many touchdowns. All right, Glenn, quickly before we get out of here, homecoming weekend, Ring of Honor. First of all, Gronk was back. That was great. I mean, just it really energized the crowd down there, was engaged with the fans the entire time. Ring of Honor for this year, one of your former teammates, Vance Johnson, gets in. A great running back here who became a very good Super Bowl, went to Super Bowls in the National Football League as a wide receiver on some really good Denver Broncos teams.
I am so happy for Vinny, man. I'm happy that he got in. It's a long overdue. He's a great track star too here at University of Arizona. He was a great running back. He was a first-team All-Pac-10 running back in 1981, his freshman year, man. I mean, that was the year that I think Marcus Allen was playing there. I mean, there was him and Marcus Allen, I believe, that his freshman year. So that is like amazing that he was, the backs that were in the league, he was first-team All-Pac-12 at Pac-10. So he really deserved to be in the Ring of Honor. I think he was a great player here, and he had a great NFL career.
Ortez Jenkins also going in, Leap by the Lake. You guys had a chance to talk to him on radio, and I thought, or at least Kelvin and those guys did. And I thought the one interesting thing that he said was everybody remembers the leap, but did they make some third downs to create that drive. A lot of people don't remember they started that drive back inside their own 5-yard line and had to really make plays all the way down the field to even get to that point where he could make a play that's remembered as probably one of the more iconic plays in program history.
Yeah, Ortiz had a great career also, good guy. I'm glad to see him in. And man, dude, it was a little overdue for Button Salmon.
Yeah, a little, you think?
I think he might have came up. I thought I saw him come up at the 50-yard line and said, dude, what took you so long? I'm like, you're taking my bear down. I've been on everything and everything. I don't even get paid for that on the all our stuff. I'm like, Bear, why am I not in? He should have been in a long time ago.
Long. He should have gone with Art Lupino back in the day.
I'm telling you, with the comment, man. I'm like, come on, man.
Oh, but yes, indeed, congratulations to those three iconic members of this football program, and Vance Johnson, Ortez Jenkins, and bear down John Button Salmon. All right. It is the Wildcats going to another tough place to play some football, Salt Lake City and the Utah Utes on Saturday. And we'll be back to break that game or preview that game for you on Saturday morning.